All the main characters from the show got into vans to go back to the facility and gamble their lives for money. The police officer Jun-ho follows Gi-hun's van, still looking for his brother. Jun-ho latches onto the bottom of Gi-hun's van and boards the ship as well. After some time, the staff in red suits start inspecting the players by scanning their ears, indicating the players have been inserted with some device. Jun-ho gets inside a van and knocks out the staff that tries to inspect him. He changes into the man's clothes and mask. After the others leave, he puts his ID into the man's pocket and throws him into the sea. One of the staff finds Jun-ho and asks what he is doing. The man is Jun-ho's superior, which makes him realize that the shapes on their masks indicate their positions. He gets out of the situation by saying that he is seasick. The ship stops at the island, and all the contestants are taken into a hall. While they are still unconscious, their clothes are changed, and their belongings are seized. Sae-byok, who is still conscious, manages to sneak in a pocket knife. The players wake up in the hall again. Gi-hun reunites with the old man, Inam. Sang-woo and Ali join the two as well. They decide to form a team, so it will be easier to win from the next round. Similarly, the gangster Deok-soo is also forming his own team and asks Sae-byok to join him. She despises the man and refuses to be on his team. Their conversation is interrupted by Min-yo. She tries to seduce Deok-soo to be on his team, but he insults her and leaves. The staff is told to head back to their rooms because their work for the day is done. Jun-ho, who has managed not to be caught yet, goes to his assigned room and sees it has a surveillance camera. At night, Min-yo creates a fuss about wanting to pee. They allow her to go, and Sae-byok takes the opportunity to go out as well. It turns out Min-yo has hidden a packet full of cigarettes inside her underwear that she then starts to smoke. Sae-byok gets inside Min-yo's stall and opens the vent on the ceiling with her knife. She goes in to inspect the facility and ends up above the kitchen's vent. In the kitchen, a large amount of sugar is being melted. Sae-byok quickly returns back before the guards can catch her. She tells Min-yo what she saw. The players are woken up and given bread and some milk as breakfast. Gi-hun and the team enjoy it together while talking. They're starting to bond, especially Inam and Gi-hun. As they talk, an announcement tells them it is time for the next game. On their way outside, Sang-woo asks Sae-byok what she saw yesterday. It turns out that he had heard her and Min-yo talking last night. Sae-byok tells him that the staff was melting sugar. When they reach outside, Sang-woo sees several shapes drawn on the wall and realizes they are playing an old Korean game where they have to break a sugar honeycomb snack into a specific shape. However, he doesn't tell his teammates and chooses the easiest shape. Gi-hun chooses the shape of an umbrella, which is the hardest one, but Sang-woo still doesn't warn him. They are given the honeycomb, and Gi-hun realizes he is in trouble. There is no way he can crack the shape of an umbrella perfectly. Sang-woo and Sae-byok get a triangle. Ali gets a circle, while Inam, Deok-soo, and Min-yo get a star. The game starts, and Sang-woo and Sae-byok easily break their shapes. Ali gets done soon as well. Min-yo, on the other hand, hides under a slide and uses a lighter to melt the sugar easily. Soon the staff starts killing people who break their shapes. Sang-woo, Sae-byok, and Ali get done in no time. Nobody notices Min-yo cheating, and she succeeds as well. She throws the lighter towards Deok-soo to help him, even though he insulted her earlier. Gi-hun realizes that if he licks the honeycomb, it will get thinner, making it easier to break into shapes. At the last moment, he manages to get the shape of the umbrella out and passes the round. Inam does the same and succeeds as well. However, the ones who failed are killed brutally. Jun-ho is also in the field and is horrified to see the real truth of the game. A superior with a square on his mask asks him to do his duties of picking up the bodies and meet him later. One of the players who failed refuses to die and holds a staff member hostage. He makes the man take his mask off and sees that the guy is just a kid. Filled with guilt, the player shoots himself and dies. The overseer approaches the staff who has just been exposed and shoots him dead, claiming that no one's face should be seen. Jun-ho cleans the dead bodies and finds the dead staff's mask, who happens to be the superior who called him earlier. He exchanges his mask with the staff member's circle mask to disguise himself as a higher-ranking staff. Some of the staff are secretly harvesting the player's organs to sell them. Number 111 is a surgeon who is helping them. In return, they tell the man what each game is going to be, so he would pass them all, and they can continue their secret mission. Meanwhile, Deok-soo takes Min-yo to his team for helping him earlier. Out of the 187 players who participated, 79 were killed. The following morning they are given breakfast of an egg and a cold drink. Deok-soo complains about it not being enough. He and his team get into the line twice to get more food. And because of this, a few people who were at the end did not get any. A woman reveals that she saw the group take the food twice. This enrages a man who didn't get his food. He yells at Deok-soo to give him his share back. An angered Deok-soo hits him, and the two get into a fight. Deok-soo beats the man repeatedly, to the point that he lies limp on the ground. When everything goes silent, Sang-woo comes to check on the man, only to find he is dead. Gi-hun asks the staff to do something and even looks at the surveillance camera to ask the overseer. However, the staff do not intervene whatsoever and announce that player number 271 is eliminated. Everyone realizes that killing each other is fair in this game. This gives Deok-soo's group an idea. They can just kill everyone and win the money for themselves. Meanwhile, the doctor is still harvesting the organs. After he is done, the staff ask him to stick to the strongest team. At last, they tell him about the next game and make him leave. Back in the hall, everyone is scared for their lives. Gi-hun and the team decide to stay awake all night to be safe. Seeing Sae-byok alone, Gi-hun invites her to their group, but she doesn't trust them. When the doctor returns to the hall, he looks around for the strongest team. Taking the staff's advice, he approaches Deok-soo's team and asks them to take him in. Deok-soo makes fun of him at first, but accepts once he secretly tells him what game will be played the following day. The staff is put on high alert for the special game, referring to the fight that will occur when the lights go out. As soon as the lights are off, Deok-soo's team gets up and starts attacking people, and the screams wake everyone up. The overseer watches everyone through the surveillance camera's night vision. Soon, the bunk beds start falling, and the place turns into a bloodbath. Deok-soo attacks Sae-byok and is about to strangle her to death, but she is saved when another guy attacks him. Gi-hun's group meets each other amidst the chaos, but the old man Inam is nowhere to be seen. Sae-byok joins Gi-hun's team for her safety, but the group is attacked by Deok-soo's group again. As they fight, they hear Inam asking everyone to stop from the highest bed. The overseer sees this and turns the lights on. The staff walk into the place covered in blood and dead bodies. The dead bodies are taken out and burned in the furnace. After everything calms down, Gi-hun and the group gather and introduce themselves to each other, as they have been calling each other by numbers until now. Inam seems to be shaken up by the incident and forgets his own name. Gi-hun assures him he will be fine once he takes rest. Meanwhile, the doctor dresses Deok-soo's injuries. The group is happy to have killed so many people, and decide to kill more until they are the only ones left, so that they can take the prize money. Min-yo sees that Deok-soo is favoring the doctor more than her. To become closer to him, she seductively invites him to the washroom, where the two have intercourse inside a stall. The following morning, everyone is woken up and told that the third game will start momentarily. After a while, they are taken to an empty white room, where they are told to separate into a group of 10 people each. Gi-hun's team already has 5 members, so they decide to find one person each. Min-yo is at a loss for words when he tells her she cannot be on the team. She begs him to let her in, only to be shoved to the ground. Meanwhile, Sae-byok approaches a girl who is sitting alone in a corner. She agrees to be in their team. The others bring 1 man each, except for Inam, so the group only has 9 members. Min-yo, who has been kicked out of Deok-soo's group, joins them at the last moment. They are then brought to a massive hall that has a tall bridge in the front. The third game turns out to be tug of war. The players are supposed to pull a rope to their side, and the ones who lose will fall from the tall bridge and die. Gi-hun's team has 2 girls and an old man, so the chance of their winning is low. But Deok-soo has already gathered the strongest men of the crowd. Their group goes against another group. The others watch in nervousness as the first match starts. Deoksu's team wins it almost instantly, and the other group hangs onto the rope to eventually fall to the ground below. At last, the staff take their bodies away. The next is Gi-hun's team. They nervously get up, knowing that their chances are low. Moreover, their opponents are all men who seem to be particularly strong. However, Gi-hun claims that he used to be the best at tug-of-war when he was a kid. He briefs them on some of the basic techniques of the game. First, the one on the front has to be a strong person who can communicate with the others by tilting his head to the sides, and the last one has to be the strongest. Secondly, one player should be at each side of the rope, so the pull is stronger. Third, all their feet should be facing forward, and they should hold onto the rope with their armpits as well. Using these techniques, the group is almost about to win, but the opponents pull the rope harder at the last moment. They are almost pulled to the edge when Sang-woo comes up with a last-minute plan. He asks everyone to loosen their hold for some seconds, so the opponents will lose their balance. As they do, Gi-hun, who is at the front, almost falls off the bridge. But the plan works, and their opponents trip and fall, losing their hold on the rope. The team uses this opportunity to pull the rope harder than ever and finally wins the game. They lie on the ground in exhaustion, feeling the adrenaline rush in their bodies. They return to the room to see Deoksu's team talking to each other. Min-yo stares at the man, subtly telling him she doesn't need him anymore. The group then sits together while talking. Min-yo tries to charm everyone, so they will favor her. As they talk, it is announced that the lights will be off in some minutes. They know people might start killing at night, so the group plans to make a barricade and stay awake in pairs to keep watch. Deoksu approaches Gi-hun and makes fun of him for thinking the beds can stop them from being killed. Gi-hun, on the other hand, warns him of his own team members. He thinks since Deoksu has been ordering them around, he might be their first target. His words get into Deoksu's head, so he tells his team that they won't be killing tonight. Gi-hun offers to be the first one to keep watch, saying that old people do not need to sleep. But the kind man is told to shut up by a new member, because they cannot keep an old man as a guard. Soon, the lights go out, and Sang-woo and Ali stay awake to guard the others. Ali thanks Sang-woo for saving his life today, and hands him a cob of corn that he had saved for him. Sang-woo breaks it in half, and the two enjoy the corn together while talking. He asks Ali to call him Hyun, which means big brother in Korean. After a while, Sang-woo wakes Gi-hun to swap the duties. Deoksu also can't seem to fall asleep, for fear of being killed himself. The police officer Jun-ho is taken to the room where some staff secretly harvest the dead player's organs. He finds out that the man he killed on the ship was also involved in the secret program. The doctor is there too, performing the procedures. Gi-hun joins Gi-hun to keep watch. Gi-hun tells him how he was not paid for 10 years worth of work, because the car company he worked at was at a loss. Gi-hun sympathizes with him and starts crying all of a sudden. He makes him lay down, but doesn't have water to help reduce his fever. Sae-byok offers him some, and the two put Gi-hun to sleep. It is now their turn to keep watch. Meanwhile, the doctor finishes harvesting the organs and hands them to Jun-ho and another staff member, who are supposed to dive underwater and give them to the buyers in the sea. After they leave, he asks the others about tomorrow's game, but it turns out even they do not know what it will be. The doctor freaks out. They get into a fight, leading the doctor to run out to the hallways, but he gets lost in the maze and doesn't know how to return. A staff member follows him to the playground where the game Honeycomb was played. He asks the doctor to calm down, because if they are caught, all of them will be killed. The two are talking when suddenly, the overseer of the facility shoots the staff member. He then says that he doesn't care what the staff does with the dead bodies, but they aren't allowed to tell the players about the games. That ruins the main essence of the facility, which is equality. He then kills the man, while the other staff shoots the doctor dead. At the same time, Jun-ho and a staff member go down through an emergency exit. He becomes suspicious of Jun-ho for inquiring so much and asks him to open his mask. The man finds out Jun-ho is a different person, but before he can react, Jun-ho points his gun at him. He inquires about his brother, but the man doesn't know anything about him, but he tells him about the player's information file in their overseer's room. Jun-ho shoots the man dead and enters the overseer's room. After he is gone, the overseer and the staff come downstairs to see the man who was killed by Gi-hun. The overseer digs the bullet out of his head and realizes it belongs to a policeman. The staff are ordered to find the man as soon as possible. An alarm begins blaring, waking the players up. They are quickly made to line up in the middle by the staff. Gi-hun refuses to get up, and it turns out he had peed himself at night. Meanwhile, Jun-ho is in the overseer's room, where he finds the files of every single person who has ever participated in the game. The players are then made to stand in lines in the middle of the room. Gi-hun helps Gi-hun by tying his jacket around the old man's waist, so he won't be embarrassed. After that, the players are then taken outside, through the halls, where everyone is horrified to see the dead bodies of the doctor and the staff who helped him, hung from the ceiling. An announcement is made, saying that this will happen to anyone who breaks the rules for their own benefit. In the meantime, Jun-ho is still in the overseer's office, taking pictures of the documents he thinks are important. He is searching for his brother's file when he hears a phone ringing outside. The overseer comes into the room and picks it up. He talks to a foreign man in English about a minor disturbance that happened between the staff, and assures the person on the other end everything will be good when the VIPs arrive. After the overseer leaves, Jun-ho picks up the phone and tries to call the number back. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.